session, and I would like to invite Ms. Russell Rutherford, and please come forward and have your thoughts.
Thank you. Well, I am so excited to be here. This has been so lovely being in India and meeting all of you. So, today I'm going to be speaking about defending innocence. And I'm excited that you're each here because I think that we all need to be warriors in this cause of defending innocence for children. And so, we're going to take a look at what the problem is. You'll go ahead and start the video. Thank you. You'll go to the next slide. That's great. So I'm going to be using a lot of different video. I'm a visual learner, so I like to involve media with my presentations. But I thought this gave a nice capture. It's a Canadian company, but they give a nice capture of just kind of helping us all kind of see the pattern and what takes place with child abuse. And so I would like to first introduce myself. If you'll go to the next slide, please. So this is me, and my name is Rochelle Rutherford, and I'm the CEO of the American Campus, which is a new university in Mauritius, Africa. And we will be recruiting students from India, Asia, and Africa to receive an American education and hopefully take that education and return back to their countries and help stimulate the economy and produce good in their own countries. And that's the role that I play today. But that's not always been part of my story. And why I care about this subject is actually I was abused and abandoned as a child. And a lot of times on the outside, we have this physical, what I call costume. This is my costume. That's your costume. And your costume, which is the physical body, but it holds our soul and our being of who we are. And for me, child abuse is something that I was unable to actually speak about until about 7 years ago. And the trauma that takes place with child abuse is very devastating, and it's very difficult to speak about. There's a lot of shame that's associated with that. And so, with my story, I actually was 16 when I first spoke out about abuse. I was being abused by my father, and my sister told me that she was being abused. And surprisingly, I, I was just appalled. I was appalled that my own sister was being abused, but yet had no concern for myself because I thought I was the only one. But once I heard that it was happening to someone else, that's when I knew I had to say something. That's when I knew that it couldn't happen any longer. I came from a family with 7 children. So imagine the responsibility of knowing that if you didn't say one thing, that there would be more children that could be harmed. And so at that day, I decided to have my voice heard, and I told my mother what had been taking place. And I was surprised at the reaction I actually had at such a young age. And the words that I communicated was that our home wasn't safe, and that we needed help, and that this was a problem, and that I couldn't live in a home where I wasn't safe. And so I wasn't going to live there until those problems were corrected. And so I walked out of the door thinking, they're going to solve the problem. You know, they love me. They're going to want me to come back. They're going to come and get me. I went to stay at a friend's house, and I didn't tell them what the problem was. I just told them I had a big fight with my family and I needed a place to stay. And so here I am. A couple days go by, and I'm thinking my mother's going to come get me. She knows where I am. She's going to come and talk to me. She's going to be concerned about the problem. And she didn't come. And a month goes by, and she didn't come. And my friend's parents said, "You can't stay here any longer. I don't know what the problem is going on with your family, but you need to go back home. You can't stay here with us." And so I actually found myself without a place to live, and I would go to friend asking for a place to live, still never speaking about what had happened to me. And fast forward a year later, I had made multiple attempts as I've called home to have someone pick up the phone and actually speak to me, but I would call, and my brothers and sisters were instructed to hang up the phone and to not speak with me. I would go to school, and my brother would pass me in the hall and was not allowed to speak to me. And I was completely disowned from my family. In my situation, the abuse could have been so much worse. And there are so many women out there where the abuse is so much worse that I am probably on the very smallest scale. But there is also the emotional impact. And the emotional impact that had on me was far greater than actually the physical component. And in other situations, it's vice versa. It's all different. It's all unique to every single individual. But I found myself after 1 year that I thought, I don't have a family. I don't have anyone that cares for me. I don't even have a place to live. What's the point? And so I decided to commit suicide. And that was my way out because I just wanted the pain to stop. And I found myself, I woke up in a hospital bed, and I was laying there, and I was looking around, and I thought, this isn't me. This isn't who I am. I'm an athlete. I'm a good student. I'm a smart person. Why am I here? Why? This is not who I was created to be. And I made a decision that day that I was going to become who I was created to be. And that if I stayed broken my entire life, then the only person that loses is me. I'm the only one that loses. Everybody else wins, or whatever out there in the big world wins, and I lose. And I didn't want to be the one that loses. And that if I was going to go through that experience, it was not going to be for naught. It was not going to be for nothing. It had to count for something. So that's why I'm here today. And as I laid there in that bed, I thought, again, some small wisdom for someone that was so young. How can I solve this? What can I do? I don't have any money. I don't have a place to live. I don't have someone to provide food for me. How am I going to get the emotional, physical, mental, all of those needs met with just a person 16 with no resources? And so I thought, maybe I can get an education. I could do that. People that get an education get good jobs. Maybe that's a way that I could get a good job and I could take care of myself. And so I made a promise to myself that day that I would get an undergraduate degree, and I wouldn't stop there, that I would get a master's degree. And I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I just said, that has to be the answer. That has to be the way out for me. And I'm unique. I'm unique that I was able to think through and problem solve that. But today, I have 2 undergraduate degrees, one in business, one in finance, and a master's degree in business administration that took me 11 years, 6 babies, and working full-time to complete, and a husband that loved me and supported me and told me that I can. And so from there, that is why I'm here today to share this message with you. So that's a little bit about me, and now you know why I am passionate about this topic. So if you could move to the next slide, please. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And I truly believe that that was the case for me. And education about child abuse is also a weapon that we as warriors can use to defend the innocence of our children. Okay, if you can please play this next video, please. Thank you. Thank you. If you'll go to the next slide. The last 2 in that video are the Maxfields. And they are a powerful couple for good. And they lift and empower women and have a company. It's a makeup company. And it's the Unique Foundation. And their company is Unique. And I love those individuals. And I love this video that they are taking a stand and creating a movement about the prevention of child abuse. So think about that video, and you think about your individual circumstances. You think about who you are in your community, who your power of influence that you have, whether you're a mother, you're a sister, you're a grandmother, whether you're a political leader, whether you're a businesswoman, whether you are a neighbor, or you are someone that interacts with children on a daily basis. We all do. And so what can you do? Think of how you are going to defend innocence and what you are going to make the commitment to do. And so I challenge you to think about that